The rules are simple.
Every week, we watch a new movie.
Then, we discuss it.
Welcome to
Weekly
Cinema. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Cinema. I am your host, Gabe Late, here with my amazing co-host,
McKenna Coleman.
That's right. And as you can see, I am not at the control booth anymore because we actually have somebody at the control booth. Everybody say thank you, Zane.
Hi. Yes, that's me.
I'm sure you guys said thank you, Zane. Anyways, today is our third official episode.
No, they didn't. They didn't say thank you.
Oh, well, show us your support. Anyway, we are watching, today we have watched the new Willy Wonka movie, Wonka, featuring Timothée Chalamet. And it is a PG movie and an hour 56 minutes long. Came out in 2023. The synopsis is, with dreams of opening a shop in a city renowned for its chocolate, a young and poor Willy Wonka discovers that the industry is run by a cartel of greedy chocolatiers. So it is a fun, not reimagining, but is a prequel of the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie, which is, as you know, a very, very iconic and classic film. This adaptation was directed by Paul King, who also directed Paddington and Paddington 2, which is also very critically acclaimed movies. But as you may have heard, Willy Wonka might not have the same going for it. So let's start with the usual. We're going to do our quick review. Each of us are going to give an out of 10 star rating, thumbs up or thumbs down, and then tell us why or why not we liked it. So McKenna, go ahead and start.
4 out of 10. Big thumbs down. I don't care if I'm being blunt. I think that this is an example of a bad movie. The music was horrible, except for maybe one song. And I'm sorry, but I cannot imagine Timothée Chalamet as Willy Wonka.
That's fair. I have a...
So sorry to everyone who does like Timothée Chalamet.
Right. I mean, I have a slightly different opinion, but it's not completely opposite of that. My out of 10 would be 5.5 out of 10. It is a very, as you would say, mediocre movie. It's not horrible. I'm going to give it that. It is not the worst movie I've ever seen. I have honestly seen way worse. And I think, of course, there is things it could improve upon, but it did do some things really well. As, of course, Paul King is a great director. He made Paddington and Paddington 2, which are both very, very good movies, believe it or not. And this movie really has like a really nice artistic touch to it, which I appreciate. The cinematography is really nice. The animation that it cuts to sometimes are really nice. I like how diverse the movie is with what styles it uses. It does use a bunch of different styles here and there. And yes, it is a musical. And I gotta say, some of the musical numbers were a little bland, but some of them actually were pretty good. I'm gonna give it to them that I actually did enjoy some of the music. Like, what is it? A World of Pure Imagination. Timothée Chalamet actually killed it. I'm not gonna lie, he did really good doing justice to that song, which I'm gonna appreciate. And then I gotta say, of course, there is dislikes, which we'll get into more in depth, but the CGI wasn't great. The story could have been better, and Timothée Chalamet didn't work for me. So that is pretty much my quick review. I'm gonna just put that out there, but we'll get into it. This is a very complex review. This will be a much more discussable film, I do feel like. But let's see if the critics agree, because you know how I am with my critic streak. Wonka reviews.
Oh yeah, because you can guess it accurately.
I know. Let's see if I get this one right as well. All right, so it's not showing. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, so it seems like my streak has ended. So Google's audience reviews really hated the movie. It got a 2.4 out of 5 star rating from the general audience of Google, who come and put the reviews publicly. But the critics actually liked the movie. Rotten Tomatoes give it an 82%
Okay.
overall. IMDb has a overall score of 7.1 out of 10, and then Metacritic has a 66%, which is more on par with what I gave. I don't know. It seems to be a diverse movie. I'm not sure why the critics appreciated it. I'm not gonna lie, but honestly,
here for a second.
yeah.
I think that they might have been paid to give that rating.
Very well could be. Who knows what goes down in Hollywood? Because
anything happens in Hollywood.
as you could see, the audience definitely disagrees. I mean, a 2.4 out of 5 is insane. I'm not gonna lie, and the fact that the critics gave it that high of a review is very red flag for sure. But anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much how people are feeling about the movie. That's how we feel about the movie. And I guess let's dive more deeper into that. Okay, so let's touch on, what's to hate, what's to appreciate, whatever it is. But I'm actually curious, what is that you actually liked about the movie?
Me, I will say the Pure Imagination song, that was good. That, and the song he has, like, when he's dreaming about the shop and everything, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
I think his singing was decent, and that's something I'll give to him. But as for my dislikes, the CGI was horrible. Most of the other songs were horrible. Storyline, again, could have been better. And I'm not sure why there was a random giraffe in the movie, but we're just gonna...
Yeah, that storyline is kind of odd.
We're gonna move past that.
Well, all right. Well, we went right into the dislikes after that. As you can see, this movie...
I have a very strong...
McKenna has some things to say about
I got
this movie.
opinions.
I told you what I liked about this movie. Again, I do appreciate the style of it, for sure. Unfortunately, I do not understand, but the CGI was just so bad in some shots. I really do not get it. I don't know why they went all this way. Like Paddington, also an entirely CGI main character, and it was incredible. Same director and everything. For some reason, Wonka. I mean, the CGI was just not good. It was good at some parts, but it seemed like some other parts were like just horrible, and I don't know. I just really don't know why. I also got to say that what I dislike about the movie, I appreciate. So Timothée Chalamet, there's so much you could say about his performance here, and it's such an interesting role to take on. First of all, I'm not sure who thought that Timothée Chalamet should play a young version of Willy Wonka. I mean, whoever did, great. I mean, I don't know why. I would love to hear their reasoning, but they did, and he did it. And here's what I have to say about that. The movie can kind of be summarized, not really fully, but I do say it's like just a 2-act movie. There's the beginning, and then there's the end part. Of both acts, the first act is way worse than the second act. It seems like towards the end of the movie, it got way better. I mean, and I think I know why. The end of the movie is much more emotional. You actually hear some backstory stuff. You actually hear some meaningful story behind Willy Wonka. You hear some good performances from him. But the first act of the movie is just not good because I do think that he suits the role better when he's acting serious, rather than he's acting like, oh, I'm so goofy. He does not do well in that silly, whimsical kind of Willy Wonka-ish style. He does not suit that role well. And he's all that in the beginning of the movie. That's all he does, and it's infuriating. But towards the end of the movie, he actually shows emotion, and he actually shows, character, and is actually acting like a human being, which I feel Timothée Chalamet fits the role so much better. He is much better as a serious actor, and that's why the second act is exponentially better.
And that's something that I actually feel I also disliked. However, the other two who did create some type of version of this movie, like Gene Wilder, he was the perfect mix between goofy, serious, creepy. And then you got Johnny Depp, who leaned way too much toward the creepy side, and that was not... Yeah, that was not a good thing.
The Johnny Depp movie was a straight up horror movie, and I don't know why Johnny Depp's version got so corrupted like that, but it was definitely scary. And another thing I appreciate about this movie, because I do prefer the more I'm sure, I hope you guys know that we both prefer the original 1970s Willy Wonka by far. Gene Wilder
100%.
is the best Willy Wonka, hands down. And Johnny Depp, there's so much controversy about his role. Even Gene Wilder said he didn't appreciate Johnny Depp's performance of Willy Wonka. But I do got to say that Johnny Depp's version of it's unique in its own way, but it is just terrifying. I mean, it does not feel like Willy Wonka. I mean, I'm sure it is closer to the original, how the original story goes, because I heard that the original book of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is terrifying and actually like horrible. But I mean, Johnny Depp really showed like a dark side to the character, which I found.
And then, of course, you have Timothée Chalamet, way too goofy.
Right. So it's funny because you do see like this scale of Willy Wonka with these three movies. You have the perfect mix, which is Gene Wilder, and then you have too goofy and too serious with the two adaptations of it. And it just shows that you can't beat the original. And that goes for anything. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of sequels at all. There's very few sequels out there that actually are good. And especially even prequels. I mean, this is a prequel, but you get the point. I mean, any, add-on to the original source material without it being necessary. Like, of course, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is gonna be a two-part movie because the movie was built up that way, which is nice. That's okay. But to have like an entirely different cast and around the same idea of the movie, it just never works well. I mean, really, it's not a fan at all. But yeah, he did it. He has his name cemented in history as performing as Willy Wonka, that's for sure. And I guess I do appreciate that this movie, I think, felt more like a Roald Dahl film, because you forget that it is a story of his. And the people I was watching with, somebody did point out, it's like, oh, this feels like Matilda, which I agree. It did. The style of the movie really had like a Matilda feel to it, which I did like because, again, it's a Roald Dahl story, and I think the story fits best with that. But again, that's just me complimenting the art style of the movie, which I've said countless times already, because that's just really the one thing I appreciate about the movie for sure. But other than that, could have been better, unfortunately. Could have been better. I don't know why I'm blanking so much right now, because there really is. I have a lot to say about this movie for sure, because it is worth discussing. What could be better? What could be worse? But I do want to go back and forth between likes and dislikes. So just tell me, what is a scene or a line that you really appreciated in the movie? What did you like?
I'm not gonna say appreciate, but I'm gonna say it made me laugh for once during this entire movie.
Okay.
When all the chocolatiers are talking, and he's like, "What's the P word? Poor."
Yeah. I gotta give it to the chocolatiers. They made the movie better. They definitely added to the movie. Those three people, incredible.
And the guy after, he goes, "Sorry, Felix."
Yeah. Yeah, I love their energy, and the chemistry between all of them is actually like really natural. I feel like you feel like they've been friends for a long time. I mean, well, I guess not friends, but like business partners or whatever. But no, I did like that addition to the movie. I thought they all were great characters, and they added a really nice comedic relief to it. Another person I gotta give props to is and I guess this would be my favorite. I guess throughout the movie, my favorite arc is Keegan-Michael Key, who, if you guys don't know, he is a comedian actor, most known. He started from like Key and Peele. But he played the chief officer in the movie and had a deal with the chocolatiers to try and keep them in business. And then he would constantly get chocolate as a payment from them throughout the movie, and progressively just get more and more obese throughout the film, and has like a bunch of rappers like surrounding him. And I love it. He also did play that part really well. And like the ignorance of him, he's like, oh yeah, it's the car got smaller. Yeah, he plays it off so well. He's such a natural comedian, which I thought that was really fun too. He did great. I guess appreciating actors wise, because I've said what I said about Timothée Chalamet, and
We
but
both have.
yeah, all of the other cast members though, I mean, the cast was, I think, other than Timothée Chalamet, was pretty strong. Let me think. Willy Wonka's mother, who was played by the same lady from Paddington, which I guess makes sense now because it is the same director. She did really good. She has that like sweet vibe to her that you look at her and she has such a motherly presence. She's the perfect person to cast, and I think she was a mother in the Paddington as well. But either way, she was a great person to cast for that moment. Also, all of the friends of Willy Wonka, like I can't remember all their names right now. It's been a little bit since we saw the movie, but I gotta remember. It was like the comedian. It was the lady who doesn't really speak, and then it was like the old guy and the other lady. I don't know. It was like it was a band of members who Willy Wonka found when he was trapped in the after signing that contract. Yeah, and it's like the Scrub song. All of those people. They all did really good, and I think they're all also naturally funny. They're all incredible singers. Also, I gotta say, their number they showed some really cool talent, which I like. But no, I think those guys did pretty well as well. I thought they contribute a lot to this.
Going back to the mother, I'm not really sure why she sounded like Irish/Scottish, but that's another thing that
is another thing
confused me.
The different accents throughout the movie was really interesting. It sounded like the entire film took place in like Britain or something, like some European country for sure. But then you have Timothée Chalamet, who is American, and he didn't even try to do an accent or anything. But it makes sense because Willy Wonka is American. It has an American accent in all of the other movies. But for some reason, I guess he grew up in this place and his mother had an Irish accent, which is so strange. I mean, he like there's that scene where it's the younger version of him and he's with his mother and she's speaking Irish and he's speaking like an American accent. They have two different accents, but you would think the kid would pick up on the mother's accent or whatever it is, but I don't know. I found that to be pretty interesting. I don't know if that's a plot hole or just trying to make up for the fact that all the other movies he's American and they're trying to make like a different story. I guess this director really likes British people because Paddington also took place in London. I don't know if this took place in London, but of course it took place in some kind of British place. But that's funny. I find that funny that the director likes to do that a lot. There's who else is there? There's Noodle, and I mean I think she did pretty well as well. What is it? That scene where they're like flying with the balloons and stuff was a bit much. I could sense like the magic they're going for. I could sense like the whimsical feels to it. But there's some times where it's like, why is he a magician? Like, why is he a wizard?
Like, why can he pull stuff out of his hat? Why can he
really
just do these
powers.
random things? I don't
understand. I mean, it was really strange to see him. And I'm thinking of the specific scene where he's holding the balloons like from up and flying with Noodle over the glass building. Because
I remember that.
And it's not a dream too because the police officer came in and spoke on the walkie, watching him fly in the air. So it was obviously actually happening. I was like, what? Why?
Because when we were watching this with the group of people I was like, you could see my face the whole time. You knew that I was like, why can he do this?
It was strange. It was really strange. And I feel like sometimes movies don't make the distinction between magic and just actual wizardry enough. I think the biggest example...
Wait.
Oh, you got the bell? All right. Well, sorry, everyone. The bell keeps interrupting us.
Yes, we are still in school.
We are still in school, believe it or not. All right, as we were saying, a good example of a movie where the absolute wizardry that takes over the fact that they're magicians, and I saw a video about it, is Now You See Me. I don't know if you've seen Now You See Me 1 or 2, but they are magicians in the movie.
I think I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
But I don't think I fully watched it because I remember I was in Tennessee with my family. We were deciding to watch a movie like before we all went to bed or something.
Yeah.
We turned that on, but I'm pretty sure I fell asleep like halfway through. So I've seen like half the movie.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
fair.
get like the concept that they're magicians and everything, and they're doing
Right.
You
like
get
tricks
points
that,
for seeing the movie. You saw some.
Right. At least you saw some of it.
and they're doing tricks that like for the public or whatever.
Right, and they like commit crimes and stuff. But the problem with that movie is that they do magic tricks that are impossible. I mean, it's not like, oh, how do you do it? I mean, it's actually like they didn't clarify a possible way for the magic trick to actually work. Because there's this YouTube video of this guy who discusses and like breaks down like scene by scene all of these magic tricks that the magicians are doing and showing how there is no way that it could possibly happen. And that's the problem with some of these movies that show like it's either like an imagination or it's just like magic. Is the problem is that they make it unrealistic. They make it in a way where it's just like there's no logical way to explain it. And that's the problem with Wonka that you can see. He does some really out there things randomly throughout the film. You're like, wait a minute, is he a magician? I mean, is he a wizard? It's strange, and I don't
This
know.
guy even real?
Is he even real? And the other thing is that this is so different from the other Willy Wonkas, which I mean, I appreciate they're taking their own like path, but the thing is, it's not something that any of the previous Willy Wonkas can do. If I'm correct, the first Willy Wonka and the second Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp, they both didn't do any magic tricks. The only magical things they did is where they did stuff in the factory, like when the room got smaller in the original movie, or when Gene Wilder stuck his cane into the ground and then did like a roll as a little stunt.
Wait. What if there's like, you know how there's like the Spider-Verse?
Mhm.
What if there's the Wonka-verse?
That very well could be a thing, I guess.
I mean,
It'd be really
with the
funny.
adaptations that you have in these movies, it could be possible.
It very
yes.
well.
I mean,
could
with
be possible.
with the existence of the Adam Sandler paradox, it would work.
Yeah, true.
I love the Adam Sandler paradox.
Shout out to Dodford. No, that's very true. But anyway, all right. So yeah, that's pretty much the basis of the likes, dislikes, whatever. I mean, just the main thing to take away from this is that this movie was very just unnecessary. It did not need to happen. And I understand they want to do a prequel. I almost forgot to mention this, actually. We got to talk about Hugh Grant as
the head Oompa Loompa.
Yes. You go
I
first.
forgot that the Oompa Loompas existed for a while.
Yeah.
To me, I think that they spent their entire budget on Timothée Chalamet and Hugh Grant, which was, I believe, very unnecessary.
Right.
Hugh Grant, while he was absolutely hilarious in this role,
Yeah.
I really can't imagine it.
I mean, the problem is first of all, he looks, I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure he looks nothing like the original Willy Wonkas. I mean, not Willy Wonkas, the original Oompa Loompas from the movie. He has such a, it's like it's so uncanny. It's weird because it's like, oh, there's this like not middle age even. How old is he? How old is Hugh Grant? I think he's like 60s.
I got it. Let me look it up on my actually fast computer.
63.
Okay, never mind.
Hugh Grant,
Wow.
Hugh Grant is 63 years old, people.
63. So, yeah, you have this 63-year-old man, and he's like has like this whole orange makeup on him, but with the tiny body. It's so weird. I mean, it didn't. I don't think it worked. I don't know why.
That
No,
is
I
something
know.
I saw.
Right.
That
No, go ahead.
he said he didn't really like what his body was doing with film, so they put CGI over that and him
Oh, I see.
as the Oompa Loompa and just
Yeah.
CGI.
So his body was CGI, but his head wasn't.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
guessing
well, at that
how
point,
they did that.
just completely cut him out of the cast and just use a CGI version of him and just have him be a voice actor.
Right. Yeah. I do think he was really comedic, though. I do appreciate that. He had a nice, take on the Oompa Loompa, and it actually gave it personality instead of being like a cult member. But no, I think he did I don't know. I don't know if he was the right choice to cast. He was a great voice actor and like just acting wise, but I don't know. He didn't really suit the look. I don't feel like. I think he was just in there to have a star in the movie, and I don't know. It was kind of weird, but yeah. All right. Anyways, so yeah, that's our opinions on it. So, let's. What do you have any fun facts about the movie?
I
Go ahead.
do. Let me pull these up here. Hold on.
Okay.
Do you remember in this movie, the opening number, where Willy Wonka was broke? He had one, what was it, coin? I don't know exactly what they called it, but he dropped it in the drain.
Yes. I
Now,
remember that.
at the opening of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he finds a coin in the drain.
Interesting.
So that very well maybe could be that same coin.
Well, that's cool. I like that parallel. I do appreciate that as well.
Wait,
is that
wait. Isn't the original movie though set in America?
No, Charlie's British, isn't he? 'Cause he sounds like
I can't remember actually. I don't know.
Well, people, conspiracy.
No, that's interesting though. I do like some of the parallels they added to the movie. That's pretty cool. He also stuck his cane in the ground, which I just said that he did in the original movie.
Yes.
And of course the musical numbers that are the same musical cues from the original movie, which is pretty cool as well.
I have a couple more for you if you'd like to.
Yeah.
So, this one might shock you.
Okay. Shock me.
Tom Holland and Timothée Chalamet were the two finalists for this role. Coincidentally, both actors were also considered to play Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a role that went to Holland.
Okay. First of all, thank God Timothée Chalamet did not get Spider-Man. Second of all, okay, I sound like I hate Timothée Chalamet right now, but honestly, and hear me out, I think Tom Holland could have pulled it off. First of all, he would have fit the part. No, second of all, he wouldn't, because I was about to say he's British and it fits with the actual movie, but Willy Wonka isn't British, so never mind. But I think he would have done pretty well.
I had no idea that Tom Holland was British until you mentioned it.
Really? Yeah, he
Yes.
does an American accent in all the movies. He's actually British, which blows my mind. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I did not. Can you imagine in an alternate universe where Timothée Chalamet is Spider-Man and Tom Holland was the new Willy Wonka? That's fascinating, and it's funny because Timothée Chalamet was with Zendaya in Dune. It's all connected. It's really funny.
Well, okay.
What?
The Oompa Loompa first introduces himself.
Okay.
He takes out what is clearly the same flute that Wonka uses to summon him, playing the exact melody.
That I knew. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then he starts doing the Oompa Loompa. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's one of those moments where it's like the crowd goes wild and it's like, oh my God, it's a reference. Yeah, I know that.
And for our last one, there was a couple times Timothée Chalamet himself got sick during this production because of how much chocolate candy he ate filming.
Well, thank you. That brought up another point that I wanted to say. But first of all, I would imagine you would get sick because I actually did not know they used real chocolate in that movie. I thought that was that didn't look like chocolate.
What else would they use?
No, it looked like wax.
Well, it looked like plastic. It was weird. The chocolates in it did not look like chocolate at all. And I guess if it was chocolate, then yeah, I would have gotten super sick too. I mean, I can't. As someone who's lactose intolerant, I cannot handle
This
that
does
at all.
what it says exactly.
I
on
did not
IMDb.
know that you were lactose intolerant, Gabe. I'm gonna
The
clown
more
on you. I'm gonna clown on you for that.
Yeah, I have two less years left to live than all of you guys because I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, that's
Womp
sorry.
womp.
But the exact thing that says on IMDb, Timothée Chalamet got sick multiple times during production due to how much chocolate and candy he had to eat.
Well, I do appreciate how cool the chocolate looked throughout the movie. Like the little mustache chocolate and the flying chocolate. That looks so cool. I mean, I would honestly take like a little figure of that and I would keep one for myself because that's really, really neat. But the fact that's chocolate is mind-blowing. That did not look like chocolate.
No.
I'm sure some of the shots they used, it was CGI because chocolate doesn't fly. But I do think that's pretty cool.
Or they could have done it the old-fashioned way where they just hang it by just a
hang
piece
a
of
string.
fishing line.
That's very true. They could have done that too. That could have been practical, which I am a big fan of practical. But throughout this movie, there was definitely a lot of moments where it's CGI, and I was just like, oh God. Oh God. But yeah, is that all your?
There was
Funsies?
okay. I found the last one.
Okay.
In an interview with Mashable, Paul King stated he drew inspiration for the villains from other Roald Dahl stories. Slugworth, Fickle Grubber, and Prodnose were inspired by Bogus, Bunce, and Bean from Fantastic Mr. Fox, while Scrubbit was inspired by a titular character of Landlady.
Hold the phone. Do you remember when we were watching Willy Wonka and I'm like, this is like Fantastic Mr. Fox?
I do, and that is why I chose this particular fun fact.
Way. Okay, first of all, Fantastic Mr. Fox is a fantastic film. No pun intended. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Second of all, that is actually really fascinating. This is one of the rare occasions where we watched a movie together because we were at a birthday party and this was a movie that was playing. So we're like, okay, fine, we'll just review this movie, whatever. But when we were watching it, I could not help but notice these 3 chocolate cartel members. They all reminded me of the 3 people from Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Who
That's
they were
so
inspired
funny.
by.
I did not know they were inspired by that. That's actually fascinating. Wow.
That is the last one, guys. Unfortunately,
That's
I don't
really
have any
cool.
more in me.
Yeah, no, that blew my mind because that's actually really neat, and I do see the similarity.
Just we'll end with
by
a banger,
far.
guys.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger on the episode.
Cliffhanger on the episode. No, that's cool. Well, thank you all so much for joining us in this very, very well episode of Weekly Cinema. And also thanks to Zane for joining us today and controlling the audio.
I will probably be here for the rest of the episodes.
That's right. And we might bring on some more people, which I'll talk about in a second. But before we do, that's all for Wonka. That's our review on it. It was nice to actually have a different movie to talk about now. We had no other, opinions going into this. The Breakfast Club, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, were both movies that we saw because of the pressure of how good it was and how much people talked about it. But Wonka is one of those occasions where it's just entirely our opinion, and it was nice to actually give some critical feedback for once. But if you want to see Wonka for yourself, and I don't know why you watched this episode if you haven't seen it, but if you did, I kind of understand for this one. But if you still want to see it, be sure to check it out on YouTube, Vudu, Google Play, or Amazon Prime Video, and you can also see it in theaters today. Also, be sure to subscribe to Avon Productions for more episodes of this very podcast. We post weekly. Also, follow us on Spotify, and be sure to rate us 5 stars if you will. That'd be very, very kind of you. But yeah, join us next week.
As we will be watching The Shining.
That's
which
right.
I am not thrilled about,
I
but
am
whatever.
so excited about that. McKenna is not one to watch horror movies, and this is such a great excuse to get her to watch some. The
yes,
Shining.
thank you, Gabe.
I can't believe I haven't seen it, and this is going to be groundbreaking for me. I've always wanted to see this movie. I'm very excited, and I'm sure you are too.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next week when we discuss The Shining. But
See you
until
next
then,
time.
that's all for now. Goodbye, everyone.